You may have a need to use compound conditions to test more than one condition at the same time. You can create compound conditions by joining conditions with the logical operators such as AND, OR, and NOT. For example, if you want to compare the value of quantity integer to the value of 100 and the age integer variable to 18, you could do so by including the word and the other two conditional statements. The statements placed immediately after the then clause would only be performed if both of these conditions were true. That is, the AND compound or logical operator requires that both of these conditions be true in order for the entire if-then statement to be considered true. If either the quantity integer or the age integer did not meet the condition being sought for, then the else would take over and the statements that would be placed immediately after the else statement would then be performed. The same statement but using an OR operator instead of AND, this if-then statement would be considered true if either of these singular conditions are true. That is, if the quantity integer is greater than 100, it makes no difference what the age integer value is because one of the two conditions have already been met. Likewise, if the quantity integer is not greater than 100, but the age integer is greater than 18, then the if-then statement is considered true also. And then the statements that are placed immediately after the if-then statement would be executed. In this scenario, the only time the statements placed within the else clause would be performed would be if neither the quantity integer is greater than 100 or the age integer greater than 18. That is, only if both of these singular conditions are evaluated to be false. You can also combine the use of the words OR and AND in the same statement. For example, you could say if quantity integer is greater than 100 or age integer is greater than 18 and gender string is equal to M, presumably evaluating as a male as opposed to a female, then this statement will be considered true. However, it's important to note that with an OR and an AND in the same statement, what is joined by the AND statement is always executed first. That is, in this condition, the age integer greater than 18 and the gender string would be compared to M first, and only if that would be true, then it would consider the OR, which is quantity integer greater than 100. Another way of looking at this is imagine there's a set of parentheses right before the variable age integer, and then there's a right closing parentheses after the letter M in the gender string comparison. Because that is the word AND by default performs that portion of the if statement to be performed or evaluated first. If, however, you want to alter this, just like in an algebraic type equation, you can indeed use parentheses. So here is the same statement, but now I've included parentheses. So what is enclosed in parentheses is going to be evaluated first, even though there is the presence of an AND, but in this case it's outside of the parentheses. So in this example, the part of the if statement that's evaluated first is quantity integer greater than 100 or age integer greater than 18. After that comparison is done, then the result of that is then compared to gender string equal to M. Just remember, when you have both an AND and an OR in the same statement, the AND is evaluated before the OR. However, you can change this by using parentheses. Any condition inside the parentheses will always be evaluated first.